It was a solemn occasion today as Nigerians from all walks of life gathered in Oko, Anambra State to pay their last respects to the late first Executive Vice President of Nigeria, Dr. Alex Ekweme. The event, which marked the end of the funeral rites for the late elder statesman, was attended by eminent personalities, including the nation's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who announced that President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the renaming of a federal university in Ebonyi State in honor of the former Vice President. The institution will now be known as the Alex Ekweme Federal University.
It's the last leg of the late elder statesman's journey to his final resting place. The casket bearing the body of Nigeria's first executive vice president, Dr. Alexander Ekweme, arrives at the St. John the Divine Anglican Church in Oko, his hometown in Anambra State. In his homily, the primate of all Nigerian Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Nicholas Oko, emphasizes the importance of education and integrity as key to a stable society and both virtues associated with the late Dr. Ekweme.
We've been told how loyal, dedicated, and erudite he was in his office as the Vice President of Nigeria.
The funeral eulogy is delivered by one of Chief Ekweme's associates and former Commonwealth Secretary General, Chief Emeka Anyoku. He draws inspiration from the elder statesman's track record of service to both Nigeria and humanity.
Dr. Alex Ekweme has left remarkable legacy in three key areas: in politics, in national and international service, and in philanthropy.
Let me urge you not to weep any longer, because Unuwan and Yokonine are lucky to have associated with this great fellow, this patriarch. That will make you very proud.
Governor Willie Obiano recognizes his eminent guest of the day, including Nigeria's former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, the secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, state governors, political chieftains, and the present vice president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who remembers Dr. Ekweme's life of selfless service.
In the commemoration of the life and contributions to our nation by Alex Ekweme, GCON, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, has approved and directed that the Federal University Ndufo Alike, Ebonyi State, be now renamed and become known as the Alex Ekweme Federal University.
But it is his family members, led by his brother and the elder son, who have the fondest memories of the distinguished politician.
The fees normally charged by the National Theatre Conference Banquet Hall, where this event took place, was paid by Alex out of his own pocket. And the rhythm given to the choir was from his pocket. That was his idea of integrity.
Oko had stood still today. The nation has stood still today to honor a man who, I believe, perhaps his kind shows up once in many decades. And today we are saying a big thank you.
As Dr. Ekweme is conveyed by a police guard of honor to his final resting place, his legacies of dedicated service, humility, and positive impact on society are reflected in the words from Nigeria's national anthem: "The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain."
News Justin says a house located at Vianney Estate, Ojodu here in Lagos, is currently on fire. You can see the flames bursting out on your screen. Men of the Lagos State Fire Services are said to have responded and are making frantic efforts to put out the flames. The residents say the firemen seem not to have enough water to put out the fire and are calling for more backup. We'll give you more details of that story as soon as we get them. But let's move to River State now, where the Governor, Nyesom Wike, is promising support for private investors to increase the investment opportunities in the state. While inspecting a huge shopping mall being developed by a private investor in the Trans-Amadi area, Governor Wike expects that the project will spur other investors to bring their money to River State.
I'm highly elated. I'm very, very happy with what I've seen. And I want to really encourage the investor who has put in his resources, his time and energy to see that this is done in Port Harcourt, and is to also encourage other people that if somebody can put this kind of resources, and this is the biggest or will be the biggest supermarket in the entire West Africa, it shows that the president has confidence of Port Harcourt is concerned. And ours in supporting him is to make sure that the other factors like roads.
Governor of River State, Nyesom Wike. Banking in Nigeria has come a long way with the changing times. The need for constant innovation and new ideas is on the rise. For this reason, Novak Merchant Bank is officially launching operations with its new facility located on Victoria Island in Lagos. The chairman of Novak Merchant Bank, Mr. Phillips Odozwa, believes the bank is positioned to create superior values for corporations and other prospective investors.
Nova Merchant Bank is officially opening its doors to customers in Nigeria and beyond. With a mandate to become Africa's preferred financial solutions provider, it is focusing on wholesale banking, which is essentially a mix of commercial and investment banking. In his welcome address, the chairman of the bank explains the idea behind the name and character of Nova Merchant Bank.
Nova means new in so many languages, which is new ideas, new thinking, and assisting the clients to tap into new opportunities.
The chairman of the day is billionaire and CEO Dangote Group.
I wish you all the very best, and I look forward to Nova growing rapidly to become a leading bank in Nigeria within the next few years.
The management team is then introduced to prospective customers and guests made up of big players in the financial sector. The symbolic cutting of ribbon is next, which now indicates that Nova Merchant Bank is officially open for business. This is then followed by a brief tour of the facility.
We want to transform their experience. So be it in the simplest things, whether it's just normal account holding or a loan or is a transaction, we are going to change that experience.
This move, which is seen as strategic for Nigeria's economy, is also validated by some attendees.
From the build-up of how this institution was built or was born, and the people behind it in terms of sponsors and all of that, I have no doubt that they're going to do very well.
We're very excited that this is happening. We're looking forward to having more merchant banks.
Nova Merchant Bank now becomes the fifth of its kind in Nigeria, a country with an economy that is seen as the largest in Africa.
To get a glimpse of how the market is doing, let's join Anne with business news.
You first. First Bank.
Melinda. Now, beginning in business news, we'll start with the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission saying that it is working to see Nigeria realize the real investment monies and projects totaling $66.3 billion pledged as commitments from foreign investors last year. And that's according to the Executive Secretary of the Investment Promotion Commission, Mrs. Yewande Sadiku, who spoke to us today.
Step at NIPC was to know exactly what the commitments are. We have a newsletter that goes out 6 days a week, and throughout the year 2017, we collected information on all the investment announcements that were made across Nigeria. The totality of that we found came to about 66.36 billion. These are simply investment announcements, not investments. The next phase of the work for us is to then follow those announcements and work with, whether it's the state government, the foreign embassy of the country of the investor, or with the investor directly, to try to take these announcements to actual investment. And we're following them not on an ad hoc basis, but on a deliberate, targeted and proactive basis, so that we can close the gap between announcements that are made. Maybe they have a challenge or two, that with a little bit of support and facilitation, we can help them to go from announcement to actual investment. But we hope in 2018 to follow the 2017 announcements, but to also continue with tracking announcements and working with those announcements to try to take them to investment.
The National Insurance Commission is teaming up with other regulatory agencies of government to advance the industry in the areas of claim settlement, enforcement and documentation. This was the response of the Commission at an interactive session with major consumers of insurance products. Key players in the industry identified areas that need improvement. Channel's business news correspondent Temple Shaju reports.
The National Insurance Commission is an agency of government saddled with the mandate of protecting policyholders, and that's the motive for this engagement, which has consumers, operators and regulators in attendance.
The timing for this session was carefully chosen and considered appropriate in view of the current changes in business environment, especially with the executive order of ease of doing business issued to public agencies and offices.
A floodgate of concerns were opened by consumers and operators, including claims settlement, fake insurance, issues in pricing, low awareness level, digitization, and data sharing.
The most important thing, the way to get this out, is the full computer digitalization of the insurance industry, that through your phone, like we did for driver's license and vehicle registration, you can verify the policy. But that is one thing that NICOM and NIA must set a goal for.
To all this, NICOM affirms strong commitment to its strategies for improvement.
And we also, as a regulator, is developing a portal where all insurance policies will have to be issued through that portal. And you can easily verify the genuinity of a policy by just checking what is available on the portal.
Having a robust national database is central to the concerns let out at this engagement. In light of the just observed Data Privacy Week, perhaps it's high time Nigeria harmonized its various silos for national security. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
Nigeria's stock market has ended today's session upbeat, with insurance sector staging some recovery from 2 days of sell-offs and positive sentiments from the banking and industrial goods sectors. For the day's trading figures, let's join Chimezie Obiwago.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The equities market consolidated Thursday's gains to close up 0.40%. The banking stocks recovered fully as both the Tier 1 banks and Tier 2 banks all performed well. The gains by Dangote Cement also supported the overall index movement. And in case you're wondering why once Dangote Cement coughs, the market catches cold, this is because the cement giant contributes about 30% of the market's total capitalization. Just like Thursday, transaction volume and value wasn't much. The market experienced moderate bargain hunting. Market breadth was positive. 30 stocks gained while 26 posted declines. With the stability seen in the market between Thursday and today, traders say the market is set for another rally next week. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Chimezie Obiwago.
Well, it's a different story for some of the world's leading stock markets. They closed today mostly in the red on concerns of higher U.S. interest rates and a stronger than expected January jobs report. Let's take a quick look at the closing figures for today. Thanks a lot for watching Business News tonight. I'm Anne Nwawadu. The rest of the news at 10 continues now with Melinda.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks, Anne. Still ahead on the news at 10. Nigeria's Flamingos ready to tackle Cameroon at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, Edo State tomorrow in the final round of qualifiers for the Under-17 Women's World Cup. That's on Sports News. Join us again.